Good morning. Happy new week, everybody. It's Monday, and the show's here just like we are, Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and lots of people already here. I'm glad to see that. Unfortunately, I just got here. I got here just in time to start the show thingy up, and so I'm kind of winging into it a little bit, although I do have a couple articles that I pulled out last night and a couple tabs, and there's all kinds of stuff on the Discord server too. So I'm just, we're just going to go through some stuff. I'm going to ask you guys some questions too today, because I kind of want to pick your brains a little bit and just see what's happening. Oh, what's happened there? This should be at live chat. Why did that happen? Well, let's see if that does anything to my chat. Okay, that works. Good. Anyway, so, whoa, what was that? I don't want that. Shut up, Google. No, you can't help me. Stop. Anyway, let's just have a good morning, a new week, a new month. It's 1st of March. Let's do that thing. But before that, play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. All right, how about we stop the music? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. Or if this is your first time here, well, what took you so long? Anyway, it's the 1st of March, 2021, Monday, another week, another day, another dollar. Anyway, so if you find out you like what we do during this show, hit the like button. Some of you already have. Please share the stream. That always helps to grow the channel. And you can be a sponsor of the show through Streamlabs or SuperChats, which are somewhere down there. You guys will figure that out. Anyway, I hope you all had a good weekend. My weekend consisted of, I coached a basketball game, which we lost miserably, but it's okay. My kids are doing better every time we play, and that's all I can ask for. It's not a type of team or situation where you're really counting wins and losses, but just how kids develop, because I coach a 9th grade B team at a high school, and so we're just trying to get a couple kids who may be borderline where they can keep playing till their senior year, but a lot of kids are just playing because this might be their last chance to play organized basketball in a setting like this. So it's more about development and having fun, and my team definitely has fun, and they're great kids, even though we got blasted. I'm sorry, we got blasted on Saturday. It was unfortunate, but what I find in every game we play, our kids play better in the second half every time, because we regroup at halftime and they play better. So that's all I can ask. In this case, it's not about winning and losing, but how you play the game, and I'm really proud of my kids. Then also, the Mrs. Lady Boomer and I celebrated the other part of our anniversary. See, our anniversary was last Monday, but so we had a little family gathering last Saturday, and then this Saturday we just went out ourselves and had a nice dinner, and came home, watched some movies, and just had a really nice evening, just celebrating being around 28 years together. And so there you go. Yesterday was and then yesterday we went and celebrated birthdays. We have 3 friends who had birthdays either yesterday or the 29th of February, which when your birthday's on February 29th, you celebrate on the 28th. And so we went around and dropped off some birthday presents, and then my wife went to a birthday party for one of the gals at work who's her birthday. And so that was our weekend. I hope you had a good weekend. Let's get into the show a little bit, but before I do, like I always like to do, I like to say good morning to everybody. But first, I do have my cup of reparations in hand. I hope you all have something to drink. Let's just take a little toast here. And I'm going to say goodbye. Say good morning to everybody, like I always do. First in the chat today was Maniac Man. Nice to see you here early, and you get the bell. I'm sorry that you've hurt your back. I hope you get it. Hope you find a way to get back to your comfort zone. Also, good morning, Gunfox61, Zach Osborne, Thomas Cleaver, who's here nice and early. Good morning to Why Are You So Angry? I wish I had an acronym. W-A-Y. I'll just call you Wayso. Or something like that. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Good morning, Jesse Leon, Cracker Rob, Damn It Chadwick, Somnambul Nation. Check your logic. Oh, you're here earlier too. What weekend in Florida? Well, what was going on in Florida this weekend? Check your logic. Check the thumbnail, and maybe you'll know what I'm talking about. Or maybe you won't. I don't know. I guess I should check. Oh, and also good morning, Small Man, Advocatus Diabli, Teresa the Kid, Hyman Lyman, Jonathan Peterson, Tyler F. Let's see. There's a lot of names in a row. Good morning, Jonas Pedersen, Midnight in Exile, Gamer Valine, Bim Jim, nice to see you back. Good morning, Atheist Icon, Justin Anderson, Mr. Scott, Sapphire Dragon, Sean D.W., Amy. Gang is all here. This is fantastic. So good morning to you all again. Like button, share, and sponsors. The show is sponsored by you. You can figure that one out. So all right. So the one thing was interesting. So by the way, thank you to Cynical Lindsay, who's already tweeted out the show, and Zacher Poo. Is that how you say your name now, Zach Osborne? Okay, now you're Zacher Poo with the funny smiley icon. Thank you for oh, you just did a like. Hit the retweet. Don't just like the show. Although some people realize when you like stuff, they come out there too. So I guess that's fine too. All right. Now so about what, check, to answer your question, check your logic. Whoa, long buffer. Really? I have excellent connection here. Oh, now it says not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Oh, I wonder what's going on there. You shouldn't have had a buffer. Well, hopefully it's working again. I know that I'm going out at about 40 megabytes upload, so it should be doing okay. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's something else on my end. I'll have to figure that. It shouldn't do any of that. It should be just fine. Anyway, we'll figure that out. I might have to change my bit rate on this to make sure that it comes out smoothly, but it should be working now. All right, so oh wait, maybe can I see him here? What's up? Hey, Monday. Okay, I think we're doing okay. Everyone is buffering. Okay, I tweeted the show before you did. It's literally right under yours. Oh, let's see. I should know better. Okay. Oh, yeah, you did. Okay, I'm embarrassed now. All right. Well, thank you, Zach Osborne, because you usually do, and I appreciate it. Also, thanks, Mr. Scott, and Tyler F too. All right, let's. So the question, what about the weekend in Florida? Well, the weekend in Florida was CPAC, and I didn't really. The problem is, I put my show together yesterday, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll just talk about, because it was just before Trump's speech in CPAC, and I end up not watching it. And then I tried to pay attention to CPAC, but it's just, I don't know. Let's see if I'm going to see if there's anything here that I really want to talk about CPAC. Trump's speech was a Trump speech. Although over the weekend, Donald Trump Jr. compared Brian Stelter to a gender-neutral potato. That was funny. We might get to that. Where's the CPAC stuff I had set up here? I had this all ready to go, and now I'm losing it. Well, let's do this first, because I saw this article this morning, and I found it interesting. Down in Texas, down to 240p. Is this thing still buffering? I've got my... Oh, no, it says it's going now. It should be going just fine. All right, in Texas, this is completely just unplanned of what I was going to talk about today. But down in Texas, there's little a little arrest of some people. Now, this was a very small scale thing, right? But 4 people, including a justice of the peace, were arrested on 150 counts of voter fraud. Now, I wasn't really sure. I haven't even read the whole dang thing. But I'm thinking, okay, why did, and this is local too. It's a local station, Fox 29, I think in, well, somewhere near Hondo, Texas. Anyway, an area justice of the peace has been arrested and accused of election fraud with 3 other people. Medina County Justice of the Peace, Thomas Ramirez, was arrested February 11th after a Bandera grand jury indicted him and 3 others just 2 days prior. Ramirez is facing 1 count of organized election fraud, 1 count of assisting voters voting voting ballot by mail, and 17 counts of unlawful possession of a ballot or ballot envelope. Leonor Rivas Garza, Ava Ann Martinez, and Mary Balderrama were also arrested. Garza is facing 1 charge of organized election fraud, 2 counts of illegal voting, 8 counts of unlawful possession of a ballot or ballot envelope, 2 counts of election fraud, 4 counts of fraudulent use of an absentee ballot by mail. Martinez is facing 1 count of organized election fraud, 9 counts of illegal voting, 28 counts of unlawful possession of ballot or ballot envelope, 3 counts of purportedly acting as an agent, 5 counts of tampering with government record, 14 counts of election fraud, and 4 counts of fraudulent mail ballot application. Meanwhile, Balderrama is facing 1 count of organized election fraud, 9 counts of illegal voting, 2 counts of unlawful possession of ballot or ballot envelope, 1 count of mail ballot application, 2 counts of unlawfully assisting voting by mail, 2 counts of tampering with government record, 8 counts of election fraud. The Bandera County Sheriff's Office tells us all charges stem from an attorney general investigation. We reached out to the AG's office, but have not yet heard back. We have confirmed Ramirez has been suspended after the arrest. Well, I would think so. Justice of the peace. I'm wondering. Now, this is interesting because I'm wondering, there was, I don't remember what state it was in, but someone did a, like one of those, sting videos on some people who were doing this. And I could have sworn that this name, what is her name? Leonor Rivas Garza. That name sounded familiar to me, and I was wondering if that was the person who was involved, because it was a case where someone was out ballot harvesting, basically going to house and telling people to do their vote, and then having them change their ballots there at the door and have them fill it in and sign them. And so I don't know if this is the same case or not. It sounds familiar, though, but I just thought that was fascinating because, as someone in the chat has already said, I was told this is a conspiracy theory. That was Zach Osborne who said that. I agree. I was told it was a conspiracy theory. There was no evidence of, well, first it was no evidence of voter fraud. Then it was no evidence of widespread voter fraud. But anyway, so I just found that fascinating little tidbit popping up on my feed there. I thought there would be a whole lot more reaction to Donald Trump's CPAC speech, at least in this thing. But in fact, well, here's some highlights of Trump's speech here. Trump eviscerates Biden's record in a blistering CPAC speech. That's how they described it at PJ Media. Hello, Katie. How you doing? Good morning. Also, Cynical Lindsay. Good morning, my friends. Lord Stanhope. Good morning. Former President Donald Trump excoriated President Joe Biden in his first post-presidency speech at the Conservative Political Action Conference, also known as CPAC, at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando, Florida. Check your logic. That is where what was going on this weekend in Florida was CPAC. There was, I get really bored with CPAC. The only one, I saw some of the speeches, or at least parts of them. I saw part of, what's the governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem? I saw part of her speech. I saw James, Project Veritas. James, God damn it, what's his name? James O'Keefe. I saw James O'Keefe's speech. His was interesting because he brought up 6 of his whistleblowers up on the stage with them. But good morning, Robert Chalk. How you doing? And then I saw bits and pieces of other speeches, but I didn't really follow them. I mean, I saw clips of them on Twitter. But Trump's speech was interesting in that he was kind of just he wasn't overly over the top on anything. He just was kind of typical John and Trump. He did, though. He ripped into Biden's record on immigration in China and all the executive orders. I mean, he did the whole thing. Good morning, MC.
Stop. Hammer time.
Anyway, Joe Biden has had the most disastrous first month of any president in modern history, Trump declared. Already, the Biden administration has proven that they are anti-jobs, anti-family, anti-borders, anti-energy, anti-women, anti-science. In just one short month, we have gone from America first to America last. Former president argued that there is no better example of Biden's failure than the new and horrible crisis on our southern border. Joe Biden has triggered a massive flood of illegal immigration in our country, the likes of which we have never seen before, Trump declared, noting that Biden has loosened the enforcement of immigration law. He accused Biden of enriching child smugglers and having put the vile coyotes back in business, which, I gotta say, it's funny that all of a sudden, as soon as Biden's in office, we have a big surge of people crossing the border, hoping to trying to beat the clock on Joe Biden's amnesty date, whatever that's going to be, because there's going to be one. Anyway, Biden has failed in his number one duty as chief executive, enforcing America's laws. The former president argued this alone should be reason enough for Democrats to suffer withering losses. Yes, withering losses in the midterms and lose the White House decisively 4 years from now. He also attacked Biden for bragging about the classroom education they are providing to migrant children on the border while covering for anti-science school closures. Joe Biden sold out America's children, and the teachers union, Trump declared, or to the teachers unions, referenced the fact that Biden has excused the continued closure of schools, even though the data shows that children are unlikely to contact or spread the virus. His position is morally inexcusable. You know that Joe Biden has shamefully betrayed America's youth. And there's a lot more about the speech here, but those were I think were the main highlights there. And he also complained about the Supreme Court not having the courage to at least take the cases of the election fraud or election whatever, the election cases, how they basically said that they basically just pushed them off as not relevant or not jurisdiction, or even the one after the fact. So they pushed the last one, the last Pennsylvania one. They pushed it back because that they didn't want to interfere with the election. So, but then after the election, they're like, well, it's moot because the election's over. Wait a minute, don't you have to adjudicate whether or not election law can be changed by something other than the legislature if it specifically states the legislature is the only way to change election law, and they punted on that one even. So he certainly has a beef with the Supreme Court. In fact, even with 2 of the people he appointed who also voted against adjudicating those cases. He also dismissed the idea of creating a third party. Let's divide our votes so that so you can never win. No, we're not interested in that. He's focused most of his speech on Biden, though, urging the GOP to prepare for the 2020 midterm elections. But he also teased a third presidential run in 2024 and repeated the claim that the 2020 election was stolen from him. I may even decide to beat them for a third time, Trump said. He referred to Melania Trump as our great future first lady. So he could be running again, folks. Buckle up. Which, I'm fine with that. Anyway, good morning, Snoopy. What's happening? And Uncle Bad Touch.
Come on, man.
Nice to see you. It was out taking care of the animals. I hope not in a Cenk Uygur way, though. Oh God, that was gross. Why'd I even say that? Anyway, so Trump's speech was it was well received at CPAC. Apparently, the CPAC audience gave Donald Trump a 97% approval rating, and 68% of CPAC believes or hopes that he would run again. So those are pretty good numbers. Of course, I don't know if there's another precedent, not president, but precedent for a former president losing and then going to CPAC and having to even have that kind of a poll. But I think he has a pretty strong, he still has a strong backing among Republicans and particularly the CPAC crowd. Now, I wanted to, that's really, I think all I'm going to do about CPAC, because I don't have a whole bunch of, I thought I had more articles ready for that, but I don't. So, but anyway, so about that straw poll, though, at CPAC, a couple of names came up prominent in the straw poll that they took there as far as future presidential runs. Former President Trump, Donald Trump, obviously, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis wins CPAC straw poll. Former President Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis have won the Conservative Political Action Committee straw poll, which was conducted by the Washington Times and announced on the final day of the annual conference. The straw poll, often used as a barometer of which candidates are most popular among conservative voters, found that when Trump was included as a 2024 presidential candidate, he won 55% of the vote. DeSantis came in second with 21% support, followed by South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem with 4%. When Trump was excluded from the straw poll, DeSantis took a wide lead among other 2024 Republican presidency primary contenders, winning 43% support. Noem followed with 11%, and Trump's son, Donald Jr., with 8%, though he has yet to announce. Nearly 7 in 10 CPAC attendees said they want to see Trump run for president again in 2024. Just 15% said that they do not want Trump to run again. 97% said they approved of the job Trump did between 2017 and 2020. About 87% of those said they strongly approved of the job did, while the 10% said they somewhat approved. So pretty good approval ratings for a president that just lofts. Let's see. Someone else was saying the stage at CPAC was in the shape of a Nazi symbol. Yeah. Good morning. Oh, by the way, good morning, Chicago Mike. Yeah, that was the big hubbub over the weekend that they were saying. In fact, that trended. That stupid. What was that thing here? Hang on. Oh my gosh, it was so annoying. Let's try. All you got to do is, if you Google Nazi here. So they had Hyatt hotels. Says hate symbols abhorrent amid comparison of CPAC stage to Nazi ruin. So the stage, let me see if I can find the picture here. Oh, now that's a whole different thing there. So here it is. Here's what they say. They're saying that the stage. Here's the picture. Just annoying. So here's the stage at CPAC right here. Okay. Now, they're saying that this stage was designed to look like a Nazi ruin. Oh, interesting. So, so anyway, so that's what they're complaining about. They're saying, oh, this is how the stage was set up. And it was like, it was designed that way on purpose. Of course, if you notice, this has a little triangle here, and this is where the entrances are. Who knows why they made it look like that, but it's certainly very unlikely. Okay. The least likely. In fact, I guarantee that was not their intention. But lots of people were bitching about it. Lots of people. Someone here, I find it almost impossible to believe that Trump's CPAC stage in the exact shape of the Nazi SS rune was a mere coincidence. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Now according to the Daily Beast, now that's interesting. It says Hyatt called out CPAC stage that looked like a Nazi rune abhorrent, but then the other article I saw up here, where is it? Hyatt Hotels says hates. Okay, let's read the Independent story here first. Hyatt Hotel says hate symbols abhorrent amid comparison of CPAC stage to Nazi rune. Event organizers denied any connection, claimed it was a conspiracy theory from cancel culture. The thing didn't pop up there. Hang on. Cancel culture extremists. Hyatt Hotel said they had deep concerns after Twitter users compared the stage design of the Conservative Political Action Conference to a Norse rune used by Nazis during the Second World War. The company, which is hosting CPAC at its Hyatt Regency Orlando property in Florida, released a statement addressing the comparison after it went viral on Twitter during the conference. We take the concern raised about the prospect of symbols of hate being included in the stage design at CPAC 2021 very seriously, as all such symbols are abhorrent and unequivocally counter to our values as a company. Good morning, Michael Hatfield. John Arn, Midnight in Exile. How you doing? Yeah, so, and because this is Sarah Beth Rosenberg. Dear Hyatt, are you okay with Nazi symbols being used on your properties? Because if you fail to speak out and do something about this immediately, I'll be sure to no longer patronize any of your properties ever again. Bitch, please. The pattern of the CPAC stage was compared to an odal rune, an ancient Norse symbol appropriated by the SS in Nazi Germany in their attempt to reconstruct the mythic Aryan past, according to the ADL. Hyatt distanced itself from the event, saying it was hosted and managed by the American Conservative Union that managed all aspects of event logistics, which included the stage design and aesthetics. We discussed directly with ACU leadership, who told us that any resemblance to a symbol of hate is unintentional. We will continue to stay in dialogue with the event organizers regarding our deep concerns. Now, here's the thing. Prior to this, because people were trying to already boycott Hyatt because they actually had the nerve to host CPAC, and Hyatt came out with a very good statement saying, that they, what, look, we host all kinds of events, and we do not choose which events we host based on political affiliation. This is an event that, we're basically saying that we believe in the robust, rights of free speech and whatnot, and association, blah, blah, blah. So, but they just, look, it's absolutely a coincidence. Holy shit. Not the ACLU, the ACU, the American Conservative, what do they call it? It's the ACU is, what's it stand for? I think the American Conservative Union or something like that. It's whatever the organization that runs CPAC is the ACU. American Conservative Union. That's who the ACU is. But anyway, it's just, give me a break. That's definitely not what was going on there. Good God. That would be if they had done that on purpose, does anyone think that would be a good move if they'd done that on purpose? Do you think really that they really, by the way, is anyone else, okay, if you're tired, of people being compared to Nazis by any political persuasion, put a 1 in the chat, please. I get so tired of it. It gets so old. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, let's see. What else is going on today? I had more than this. Oh, former French President Nicolas Sarkozy sentenced to jail for corruption. Goodness gracious. And why is Candace Owens trending? Oh, God, here we go. Let me just check real quick. Sonny Johnson was on a Trump panel. Angela Stanton got supported and spoke at events. Pro-black guy literally was in charge of blacks for Trump. And y'all are mad because Candace Owens still outshined everyone. Wow, maybe y'all need better messaging. What? Just a reminder, Candace Owens tried to make money off of liberals by running a very liberal blog. When she failed to get money out of liberals who were too smart to buy her crappy writing and brand, she suddenly became an ultra-conservative. She's one of the worst drifters around. I think he meant grifters. Candace Owens is right. Oh, here's someone who said, oh, this is cute. You'll like, I hate, see, here we go. Here we go. Some more Candace Owens praising Trump for being a feminist. Is like people saying Hitler was a humanitarian. Okay, nothing like wasting more air and space on the Hitler comparisons. All right, let's see here. Why is she trending though? Oh, I see. Because she, see, she knows how to get people riled up and get people talking about her. That's hilarious. If you guys are wondering what actual feminism is, it's Donald Trump having the courage to stand up on stage and call out the insanity of biological men dominating women's sports. Oh, man. Okay. We as a society must send Candace Owens on the next rocket to Mars, where she can spread her dumbass transphobic comments with the dust and rocks and spare our ears from her siren songs of bullshit. Well, I'm sorry, I'm in that category of people that just I'm going to admit it. I don't think it's fair to have physiological males competing against women in sports competition. Okay, I said it. It's just not. Anyway, thank you. A couple sponsors have popped up all of a sudden. Thank you, John Arnott, with the Lincoln through Super Chat. I appreciate that. No message though, but that's okay. You don't have to do a message. Was there a little symbol? No, just a $5 donation as a sponsor of the show. Thank you for sponsoring the show, sir. I appreciate it. Also, thank you, Chicago Mike, with going through Streamlabs. And Mike,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Also dropping a link in the Streamlabs, who says, show these people an ink blot test and they'll see a Nazi symbol. Oh, I know. They pulled that from a list. It's funny. They're so concerned about Nazis, but they sure know every single Nazi symbol on site. And it's kind of like the dog whistle thing. They're always talking about dog whistles. And I must say, if you spend a lot of time hearing dog whistles, you might be the dog. Just saying. I'm just saying, you just might be the dog. Hello, Mr. Yes, good morning. Let's see, escape precinct with Nazi villains a few years ago. Now I want to burn it, and I enjoyed writing it. Oh, you wrote a script for Escape from Precinct 13 with Nazis as a villain. Oh, that's interesting. Do you write for a living, Midnight Next Sale? Just curious. And then let's see, when you sell a T-shirt, you sold. Yeah, most punk bands. Oh, I see. We're talking punk. We're talking punk bands in the chat. Or am I missing something here? DK is in the Dead Kennedys. Anyway, all right. Let's keep going here. Okay, let's see. Okay, whatever. Lots of people are not are mad at Candace Owens. Brooklyn Dad Defiant. I replied to him the other day on something. I can't remember. Oh, because he was bitching about something Trump said on Twitter, or no, not on Twitter, at CPAC. And I think I said something about, you must be really upset that your business model is no longer on Twitter. Anyway, here he is bitching about, gee, what will I do now that I'm no longer privy to the deranged words of the self-hating Candace Owens? Did she get, she got blocked. She blocked him. Oh my gosh. Maybe find out what? Maybe find out about how the 80% black population of Jackson, Mississippi is starting their third week without clean water, and not a single person in the news is talking about it. Oh, and she thinks they think that Jack's going to kick her off Twitter soon. Okay, whatever. I don't care. I am a failed writer. Oh, wrong identity for anyone to give a shit about anything I write. It's just a compulsion at this point. Well, don't ever stop writing. You know what? Because I don't think there's anything. I don't know if there's such thing as a failed writer. I think it'd be just a writer who, I don't know. Unless you don't like what you write. If you like what you write, that's always a good start. I've had people who've struggled in writing books and stuff, and then wrote one good book that made their career, and then didn't write anything else. A friend of mine he was a police officer, and he wrote a book, and but he tried to write books before, and he finally wrote one that actually got some traction and got a deal with, and then he didn't do that anymore. Anyway, let's move on. What else is going on here? Like I said, I'm not as organized as I'd like to be today. This article kind of caught my eye though, because we were talking about Brian Sicknick the other day, and this is a great question from the pages of American Greatness. Where are all the Brian Sicknick retraction stories? Where are they? The Capitol police officer did not die after being attacked by Trump supporters with a fire extinguisher on January 6th, yet news organizations and lawmakers refuse to correct the big lie. Yeah, they do. Law enforcement officials, according to several news reports, now are searching for someone who. Oh, this story popped up because someone else. So I was watching the news in the break room. I think it was Friday morning, and they were. I was watching the news Saturday morning. I saw it, a blurb, and they were saying that they're still searching for someone who killed Brian Sicknick, and I was like, wait a minute. How could that be? Because he didn't die from blunt force trauma, we found out. Well, that's not what they're looking for. See, Thomas. Oh my gosh, where you been, my friend? I'm glad to see you in the chat again. Nice to see you, friend. All right. So law enforcement officials, according to several news reports, are now searching for someone who allegedly released bear spray into a crowd of police officers on January 6th outside the Capitol building. The suspect might have sprayed the chemical at Brian Sicknick, the Capitol police officer who died January 7th, reportedly from injuries sustained in the chaos. In a significant breakthrough in the case, investigators have now pinpointed a person seen on video of the riot who attacked several officers with bear spray, including Officer Sicknick, the New York Times reported Friday night. With that one sentence, the Times buried for good its own original account of what happened to Sicknick, the now debunked claim that Trump loyalists beat him to death with a fire extinguisher. The Times seeded the fabricated story on a January 8th article. The paper updated the article, in reality a retraction, on February 12th after pressure from a few outlets, including American Greatness. The bear spray assault is just the latest change in the slowly unraveling mystery surrounding Sicknick's untimely death. He was 42. His grieving mother told the Daily Mail last week she believes her son died of a stroke and isn't sure if any sort of repellent spray caused it. Has anyone ever heard? Okay, anyone know of anybody who's had a stroke after having contact with bear repellent or pepper spray or anything like that? I've never. This would be the first case I've ever heard of in my entire life. Hello, Torideos. The D.C. medical examiner's office, in what can only be interpreted as a cover-up, refuses to release an autopsy or toxicology report, even though Sicknick was cremated weeks ago. That's convenient. The public and his family may never know exactly how he died, but one thing for certain, Brian Sicknick did not die after being attacked by Trump supporters with a fire extinguisher on January 6th. That is true. The story is a lie. In fact, unlike claims of election fraud, a big lie. And everyone from Joe Biden to top news organizations down to a random Twitter accounts who repeated the lie knew it was a lie because no evidence ever existed to prove the claim was true. It didn't matter to the propagandists of the lie. It was a lie. That it was a lie. The fabrication served its destructive political purposes. Now, the interesting part too, and maybe they'll say that in this article, is that New York Times story, the original New York Times story, not only said that he was beaten with a fire extinguisher, but the original article said that he was taken from the scene by ambulance with his head bleeding profusely. Or those aren't the exact words, but I'm paraphrasing what they said. And we knew that was a lie the very first day. The very first day we knew he wasn't taken away bleeding from his head. Because we knew that he went back to the precinct and he texted his brother. And he collapsed later. And then they also knew, of course, we found the autopsy results later too, where there was no blunt force trauma. Anyway, yet major news organizations and lawmakers still refuse to correct the big lie. The death by fire extinguisher fable is a permanent feature in the egregiously overblown drama of the January 6th insurrection. The uncorrected version will be part of the historical record. A January 8th article in the Wall Street Journal still states Brian D. Sicknick was struck in the head with a fire extinguisher during Wednesday's unrest, according to a law enforcement official. Really? What law enforcement official told you that? Out of curiosity. Did I say out of curiosity? The Washington Post, the Democracy Dies in Darkness vanguards of truth, has not corrected an editorial paying tribute to the fallen officer. Quote, Officer Sicknick was pummeled by a rioter wielding a fire extinguisher, according to witnesses. Really? What witnesses told you that, Washington Post? Did you interview the witnesses, Washington Post? Who told you this, Washington Post? That is a lie. Let's see, Sicknick. Oh, and then here. This is one. Listen to this. Sicknick was placed on life support in a hospital after being struck in the head with a fire extinguisher wielded by a protester at the Capitol on Wednesday, according to a tweet by Alexandra Lyman. Newsweek reported January 8th. Neither the article nor the linked tweet has been corrected as of Saturday. Wow. The Associated Press on January 2nd reported, during the Capitol siege, as rioters seething over President Donald Trump's election loss stormed the building, Sicknick was hit in the head with a fire extinguisher. He died the next day. AP has yet to publish a correction or an update. An article at New York Daily still includes a passage in a January 29th story claiming, quote, the police officer was pepper sprayed, then fatally bludgeoned with the fire extinguisher when hundreds of Donald Trump supporters stormed Congress on January 6th will lie in honor in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. Fatally bludgeoned with a fire extinguisher. You get the idea. Thousands of articles, broadcast segments, and cable news diatribes perpetuate the lie about Sicknick's death, spawning millions more iterations with no updated facts. Scores of verified Twitter users still have posts online promoting the lie to their followers. Quote, Officer Sicknick has been muzzled for life because a mob you incited murdered him with a fire extinguisher. You are not getting out of this with a political career, you pathetic seditionist, Fred Wellman, executive director of the Lincoln Project, tweeted at Senator Josh Hawley on January 24th. Oh, I thought that was to Donald Trump. Quote, love how all these stories make clear this is not the murderer who murdered Brian Sicknick. It is another wannabe murderer, Salon's Joan Walsh tweeted January 14th about the arrest of another man charged with throwing a fire extinguisher at police. The extinguisher that Mr. Sanford allegedly threw is separate. Listen, this is Joan Walsh. Okay, she's the editor, the publisher, whatever, main executive editor. The extinguisher that Mr. Sanford allegedly threw is separate from the one that killed Officer Brian Sicknick, who was also struck in the head with a fire unrest and died from his wounds. Harvard epidemiologist and COVID-19 panic pusher Eric Fiegel-Ding tweeted to his nearly 500,000 followers on January 14th. Will CEO Jack Dorsey, who launched an aggressive campaign to censor and deplatform users spreading disinformation about the 2020 election, take similar steps to ban any content related to the fire extinguisher lie? Let's not hold our breath. Of course, the biggest platform to spread the big lie about Brian Sicknick's death was the House Democrats' impeachment trial. The claim is forever part of the government charging documents attempting to bolster the case against President Donald Trump. Will Republicans now demand the lie be stricken from the official record? Let's not hold our breath about that either, because they're pussies. Hello, Data Wasteland. The sad reality is, if every news outlet, journalist, editor, pundit, lawmakers, and social media user admitted the story was false, millions of Americans will refuse to believe the truth. Blinded by hatred for Trump and his supporters, willfully brainwashed by their favorite cable news host or Washington Post columnist, these folks once again will reject facts, just as they've done over and over in the Trump era. And the news media knows they can get away with it. No one gets fired, no one apologizes, no one faces public humiliation. There is no reckoning with which is why they will do it again. If anyone thinks exploiting the untimely death of a police officer to score political points is the low point for the media, Democrats, and never Trump Republicans, I know that's really redundant. Stand by. They seem to find new lows by the day. Yes, they do. Let's see. Let's see what else I got here. Occasionally seeing a history of the racist Democrats and how senile Boomer Biden heralds the end. I'm not going to go with that one. Oh, this is interesting. Here's a report. Nancy Pelosi, they've been wondering, the lack of security on January 6th. Well, according to a report, and I don't know if this is, now when I say report, I don't know if this is anonymous sources or not, but conversations with Sergeant at Arms responsible for lack of security, a lack of National Guard on January 6th, related to Pelosi here. Former Sergeant at Arms Paul Irving's discussion with Nancy Pelosi factored into his blender of decision-making to delay deploying the National Guard at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, according to reports from the Daily Caller. Pelosi's office had previously impressed upon Irving that the National Guard was to remain off Capitol grounds, Irving allegedly told House administration. The article summarized. The article sources, 3 individuals with direct knowledge of Irving's talk with the House administration, also revealed that, or the House admin, also revealed discussions centered around optics and occurred in the months prior to the January 6th riot. The article also discredits the timeline provided by Pelosi's office, which alleges that she approved the deployment of the National Guard around 1:43 p.m., despite Paul Irving saying he was contacted about the matter after 2 p.m. Which, you wouldn't think that, 15, 20 minutes difference is a big deal, except it could be, depending on what's happening. If you believe Irving's timeline that he testified under oath to, how could he ask for permission from the speaker 20 minutes before he got the request? A source questioned. Also, if you believe his sworn testimony that he never had to run the request up the chain, why did the speaker's office confirm he did just that? They continued. So anyway, let's see the daily. I'll open the Daily Caller article also and leave that one. Make that one available too. See if there's any different information. Pelosi's office had previously impressed upon Irving that the National Guard was, that's basically the same thing there. So both articles are available if you want to check them out in the tabs later. Okay, let's move on here. Let's see. Empty post report makes up. Oh, yeah, this is another one regarding that. So apparently a Huffington Post reporter made up a story about a police investigation into a GOP congressman. Huffington Post congressional reporter Matt Fuller made up a story about Republican Representative Russ Fulcher being under investigation by Capitol Police over objections to illegal metal detectors set up in front of the House chamber. Last week, Fuller wrote on Twitter that Capitol Police requested an interview for an investigation into Fulcher's manhandling an officer outside the metal detectors. Quote, I saw him very aggressively brush a female officer aside after he set the magnometer off Friday, the night of January 12th, Fuller reported with no confirmation. And so here's his tweets too, saying, so Capitol Police called me today to come in for an interview. They were pretty cryptic on what it was about, but it turns out they have two ongoing investigations that I was witness to. One potential assault of an officer by a member of Congress, the other Andy Harris. The first investigation about Representative Russ Fulcher manhandling an officer who was at the metal detectors outside the House floor. I saw him very aggressively brush a female officer aside after he set the magnetometer, I can't even say that, off the night of the 12th. Anyway, Fuller had also tweeted about the alleged incident on the day he said it occurred with an indictment of Fulcher. Another member, I believe it was Russ Fulcher, just pushed his way through, Fuller wrote. He went through the metal detector, set it off, and ran into a cop, then pushed his way past her. Fulcher had put out a statement on January 13th to condemn the new metal detectors while rejecting Fuller's reporting. So anyway, somewhere along the way here, Fuller's tweets generated several stories on major publications, which cited Fuller's unverified claims of a Capitol Police investigation as their only source, including MSNBC and New York Magazine. So these people used his tweets as a source for their story, and then it turned out to be false. And then as far as there being an investigation, Capitol Police revealed Thursday, however, that no such investigation into Fulcher exists, nor has ever existed. In a formal letter to Fulcher's office, Capitol Police Chief of Staff Sally Wood debunked Fuller's made-up reporting and laid to rest the rumor. So he just made some shit up and said that the Republican congressman was under investigation when he wasn't. All right, moving on. Good morning, Special Can Acid. She was Huffington of gold paint at the time she wrote this. Oh boy. Feels good. Describes how they feel. Okay, I'm just reading the chat here. Let's see. So also over the weekend, I'm sure you've already heard this too. Another woman has come forward stating that alleged sexual misconduct by Andrew Cuomo, a second former aide, alleged Saturday she was sexually harassed by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who responded with a statement of his own proclaiming innocence, saying he never made advances toward her and never intended to be inappropriate. Charlotte Bennett, a health policy advisor in the Democratic governor's administration until November, told the New York Times that Cuomo had asked her inappropriate questions about her sex life, including whether she ever had sex with older men. He's trying to get some. The 25-year-old former aide added Cuomo, 63, confided he was open to a relationship with women in their 20s. So here's the thing. Yes. Believe these women, because that's the mantra of the left, and several representatives in the House of Representatives, whatever, have been saying, you know what? They said they're troubling, and maybe they should. Alessandra Biaggi, senator, wants Cuomo to resign. Jerry Nadler thinks. Let's see. Jerry Nadler. Recent allegations of sexual harassment against the Governor Cuomo are deeply troubling and deserve a thorough investigation. It must be transparent, impartial, above all else, independent, as has become standard practice in the state of New York. When allegations relate directly to the executive, Governor Cuomo should refer the matter to the Attorney General, who should in turn appoint an independent investigator. Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal, as Joe Biden would say. Here's the deal. So Governor Cuomo, first of all, was going to have an investigation of himself, where he appointed the investigators. Then he thought, oh, well, those optics aren't real good. So now he's referred it to the Attorney General, who is going to do, is going to do an investigation, but it's still, I don't know, it's still let's just say this investigation is going nowhere. And also, I don't even know, the allegations of the one woman who said that he kissed her, maybe should be investigated, whatnot. But this is taking away from what the real investigation should be for Andrew Cuomo. And that would be, how many grandparents did he kill? Okay? With his stupid executive orders. And the other part too, I'm really annoyed. We hear about Andrew Cuomo's issues with the nursing homes and sending COVID patients to nursing homes. But why haven't we heard about the other states where they did this? Because there were 3 or 4 states that did this, weren't there? I know they did it in New Jersey. I know they did it in Michigan. I don't think they did in Washington. There was a couple other states, though, where this should also be a scandal there. Oh, in Pennsylvania, right? So why, is this a distraction that, because Democrats, except for Al Franken, who, got Kirsten Gillibrand, got him to resign and made a big stink, but nobody's making a big stink about Cuomo. I mean, yeah, sure. Some of these Congress critters are saying that he should resign. But, here's the thing. See, here. And then here's ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC ignore Andrew Cuomo's sex harassment claims. That's just special, isn't it? And then the judge's special counsel, Beth Garvey, said that a review would be conducted by a former federal judge, Barbara Jones. Okay, so they are having someone... I'm whatever. Anyway, thank you, C. Thomas, for sponsoring the show once again. I appreciate you. Who says, I once tried to use anonymous sources for a report, but I was turned down because I was in grade school and not a journalist. Yes. That's everybody loves their anonymous sources now. Not even anonymous sources. Sources familiar with the situation. That's not even, yes, as an anonymous source, but they like to say sources familiar with the situation. And now, because what happened, for a long time, they would cite a single anonymous source. And if you notice, if you read these articles where they're using anonymous sources, they don't do that anymore. They always say 2 to 3 or 3 sources familiar with the matter. They give you a number of anonymous sources. And it's like, really? Is there no one who is willing to go on record to be an actual source for something anymore? Are you that worried about getting canceled, but just being a real source? I just don't get it. Anyway. Let's see. How are we doing here? Okay, we're good on time. Let's look at some other things now. Oh, so let's see. Let's see. Portland. Oh, more stuff in Portland where they were defunding the police. Let's go to Portland. Which actually I liked Portland when we were there last year. It was a nice little city, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to be around there when all this nonsense goes on. Hellhole Portland, defunded police were too busy with shootings to stop Antifa rioters. Apparently, this past Saturday night, there was another Antifa mob in Portland. Shocker. I know you don't believe it. How could that happen in Portland? 50 former CIA agents said the Hunter Biden laptop was fake. Yeah, they'll give you a number, but they won't tell you who. Anyway, on Saturday night, a mob of Antifa rioters ravaged the Pearl District of Portland, smashing windows and spray painting anti-police messages on businesses, including a Safeway, a Starbucks, and a Chipotle, among others. Police resources to deal with the riot had been strained by multiple shootings in the city that same evening. Rioters terrorized at least one person inside the Chipotle when they attacked the building. Rioters spray-painted ACAB, which is a neo-Nazi slogan, by the way, which stands for All Cops Are Bastards, on the location. And here's some footage from Andy No. I don't get it. I just don't get why they do this. So they're breaking windows again. Rioters also smashed the windows of Starbucks. Business dispatched workers to board up buildings in the middle of the night. Crews are boarding up businesses in the middle of the night after Antifa smashed up property again in the Pearl District of Portland, and their pre-planned riot. The Portland Police Bureau explained that few officers were available to deal with the rioters due to multiple shootings across the city. Stay indoors at night in Portland right now. God. Police response was constrained by multiple shooting incidents happening across the city, limiting officers available to address the criminal behavior and the protest. Still, the officers responded to the criminal behavior and made 2 arrests. Items that could be used as weapons were seized, including a large bat, the Portland Police Bureau reported. The riot began around 9 p.m. Oh, he's at 9 o'clock at night Pacific time and lasted over 2 hours. Police warned the rioters over the loudspeakers with this message, quote, "To those marching in the Pearl District, officers have observed and community members have reported members of this group have damaged buildings in the Pearl District. Immediately stop participating in criminal behavior, including damaging property. Failure to adhere to this order may subject perpetrators to detention, citation, arrest, or use of crowd control agents, including but not limited to tear gas and/or impact weapons. Immediately stop participating in criminal activity." Well, I'm just guessing if they did arrest anybody, they probably were let out within minutes because, they're beginning to believe not in any bail or not in any, or even charging these people with anything. So what's the point? Good morning, Chrome and Fight for Your Rights. Nice to see you guys dropping in. In other words, so the news release went to explain that while tear gas use is currently restricted, state law requires that the warning be given. Oh, that's right. They're not allowed to use tear gas. Why would they even say that? Anyway, In other words, Portland laws require that police warn rioters that officers may use tear gas against them, even though Portland's current regulations prevent the use of tear gas. Police arrested one adult and one teenager. The adult was issued a criminal citation and released due to COVID-19 restrictions for booking at the Multnomah County Detention Center. The juvenile was released to his parents and will be given a future hearing date, the release explained. Last June, and by the way, last June, the Portland City Council voted to cut at least $15 million from the police budget, eliminating 84 positions. So, it's just, funny how that works out for them. They just, defund the police, and you'll have no police to show up when there's a riot. So there you go. Although some were. Let's see. How about? No. Oh, the New York Attorney General calls for an investigation into Cuomo's harassment claims. So there you go. With subpoena power. I almost said something else there. The New York Attorney General, Letitia. Hang on. Let me try to get this on the screen here. There we go. Letitia James calls for an investigation into Cuomo harassment claims with subpoena power. Thank you, C. Thomas, continuing to sponsor the show. Please feel free to sponsor the show if you are able. C. Thomas says Portland police should be allowed to shoot, in Minecraft, these insufferable terrorist revolutionary LARPer fuckwits because these commies deserve it by never stopping their bullshit for years on end. Fuck Antifa. Those communist bastard dogs. Well, I tend to agree, and whoa, sounds like the whole crowd agrees. There you go. As a liberal, I hope Trump runs again in 2024. He's great for us Democrats. Well, he could, and I guess in some ways he is. Not good for Democrats in the House of Representatives so much, but oh, come on, man, get it right, dog. Oh, I'm missing it here. How is he good for Democrats? I'm just curious. When they lose 20 seats in the House, and I suppose he lost a couple Senate seats, but I don't think that's Trump's fault. I'd blame it on the two bad candidates in Georgia. They were just both just terrible candidates. I think they can do better in Georgia too. But that's interesting. He's great for us Democrats. I don't know how he's great for you. I haven't quite figured it out, but maybe you can explain in the chat. By the way, I appreciate you being here, Mike T. Welcome to the show. I don't recognize the name. All right, moving on. Let's go back to Letitia James. New York Attorney General Letitia James has called for an investigation into the sexual harassment claims against Governor Andrew Cuomo that would have subpoena power, an idea that would seemingly stand at odds with Cuomo's proposed method for reviewing the claims against him, because his idea was to have his own investigator that he appoints to investigate him, and that just doesn't work. Anyway, he's great for us Democrats because under Trump, Republicans lost the House and the Senate. Well, no, they didn't lose the House. The House was already under Democrat control, and every incumbent Republican that ran won their race, and the Republicans picked up 16 seats in the House. So he didn't lose the House. The House was already under the Democrats, unless you're talking about the first term. But then again, that's pretty common that the president loses the House, at least over the last 40 years. It's pretty common that since Bill Clinton was elected, the president's party has generally lost the House during their presidency. That includes Obama. That includes George Bush. That includes Bill Clinton. And so there you go. It's not unusual for that to happen. No, I just said that. Oh, there's a delay. I forget. I'm watching you hear me, and I don't see you. You don't respond for over 30 seconds. So you got that. No, I did not forget that. Okay, I got you there. Anyway, that's, like I said, not uncommon. By the way, if you're going to be your metric, I think Joe Biden's going to be really good for Republicans. I'm just saying. if Joe Biden lasts till the midterms. But anyway, let's see. So anyway, to clarify, James says, I do not accept the governor's proposal. The state executive's law clearly gives my office the authority to investigate this matter once the governor provides a referral, remarked James, a Democrat, in a Twitter statement Sunday afternoon. While I have deep respect for Chief Judge DeFiore, I am the duly elected Attorney General. It is my responsibility to carry out this task. The governor must provide this referral so an independent investigation with subpoena power can be conducted. Like I said, I'm really fascinated by this, right? I'm fascinated by this in that I think this is a distraction from the governor's more serious problems with probably investigations about the nursing home fiasco in New York, the state of New York. So good for Letitia James for jumping all over this, but again, I think it's a distraction. But it makes the Democrats look better because they're doing something about it, against a very popular, Democratic governor who gets less popular by the day, and people forget about the the cover up on the nursing home thing. Again, insanity, and the fact that they're only talking about it in New York makes me think possibly this. There is another political candidate who is really good at finding unique ways of getting rid of their competition, future competition, and Cuomo has been named more than once as a possible future presidential candidate. And I just think perhaps somebody is out there paving the way and bulldozing the way, I should say, for a certain candidate that will probably succeed Joe Biden, that might already be in power in the halls of Washington. In fact, it's possible. It's possible. Not, I wouldn't say probable, although I think it's probable, but most people may not think it's probable that this person might become president before this person is ever elected. If you know what I'm saying. So anyway, equal parts distraction and possibly a way to throw Cuomo under the bus, aka wrist slap. Well, yeah, they're trying to ruin Cuomo as a potential runner against Kamala in 2024. That's possible. That's where I'm going with that too, Amy. Slaughtering the elderly, flirting with staffers. Fun. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and a fuck you. So there you go. Let's see. Trump sparks voter turnout, which is great for Democrats. Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Let's move on here. Trump already said during CPAC he's not going to start a new party. And Trump shows signs of being a kingmaker instead of king. I want actual. Oh, speaking of Sundowner Joe. So he was down in Texas the other day, 10 days after, well, I'll say 10 days after the freezing temperature, but a full 7 days after the temperatures came back to normal because it's already back in the 70s in Texas. But so Joe Biden visits Texas, and I think here's one of the reasons I think we're not going to see a State of the Union address, based on his experience in Texas, where he has a little trouble with some names, and he has Well, let's just watch. Joe Biden struggled to read a speech Friday as he botched the names of Democratic members of Congress and asked, "What am I doing here?" Here's our president, President Sundowner himself.
I think he was getting on a plane. He told me he came in to see me last event, and Representatives Shirley Jackson Lee.
Okay. Now, he's known Sheila Jackson Lee for years, but Cheryl Jackson Lee, who else did he name here?
Al Green,
Sylvia
Green, Garcia, Lizzie Pinelli.
Okay.
Excuse me, Pinell, and what am I doing here? I'm going to lose track here. And
now, the "what am I
Matt
doing
Turner,
here" doesn't mean "what am I
Judge
doing here."
Bell.
He said, obviously, being not self-defecating, self-deprecating, Well, he kind of shit his pants too, but no, he just had a little trouble remembering people's names, and he's got his card there so he can remember.
Thank you all for welcoming us. And Jill and I wanted to visit Texas today for a couple of reasons. First and foremost.
Well, first because 2 weeks ago it was freezing here, and there's some people still struggling. There are still places in Texas, Mississippi, Texas and Mississippi that are still their water plants still haven't gone completely online, so they're still having to boil water and whatnot. So hopefully those people get back on track soon. But again, for Texas and Mississippi, whatever that part of the country, that kind of event is a natural disaster. It's not something that's going to happen over and over and over. So I always laughed at all the people talking about, "Oh, how did Texas sucks? They can't keep their power grid on." Well, again, you know what? When people have a tornado, do you blame them? If something happens to their power grid, do you blame it on their power grid or do you blame it on the tornado? Anyway, let's see. What else do I got here? Interesting. So much winning. Trump outscored Obama on 5 key metrics, according to a pollster. Oh, that's interesting. Let's check this one out. I hadn't seen this one. Apparently, now, again, this is beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but Trump outscored Obama on 5 key metrics, according to a pollster. Given all predictions that President Donald Trump would lead the ruination of the U.S., and despite the 24/7 attacks hurled at him from all quarters, Trump got stronger marks than Barack Obama on all but 2 of 7 key metrics that IBD, International Business Daily, has been following for 20 years. The president of Technometrica Market Intelligence, which runs the International Business Daily poll, explains it all in a news site called Tip Insights. Although often ignored by the mainstream press, the Investor Business Daily sponsored IBT Tip poll has proven to be the most accurate in the past 5 presidential elections. And since 2001, I'll just say IPTIP poll has been taking the public's pulse 7 topics to. Okay, this is a terrible written sentence. The IPTIP has been taking the public's pulse 7 topics to gauge the state of the nation. That's a terribly written sentence. That's what it says, too. Direction of the country, economic optimism, presidential leadership, standing in the world, quality of life, morals and ethics, and national outlook. The indices provide a unique view into how the nation judges each president, and after 2 decades, IPTIP now has a wealth of data. Technometrica President Raghavan Meyer says that to condense the indices and compare for each president, we have to take the average of the monthly readings for their terms. The surprising finding, the much hated Trump outscored the sainted Obama on all but 2 of these measures. Scores above 50 are positive, below are negative. On the direction of the country, Obama scored an average 37, Trump scored at 42. On quality of life, Obama scored 53.7, Trump scored 58.5. On economic optimism, Obama scored 46.7, while Trump scored 53.1. On a national outlook, it was Obama 44 to Trump 45.1. Even on the topic of U.S. standing in the world, the public was slightly happier under Trump than under Obama, giving Trump a 43.8 to Obama's 42.6. Trump did worse on two measures, morals and ethics and presidential leadership, but even there, Obama did almost as poorly as Trump on morals and ethics, which asks people how they feel about the direction of the country regarding these. Obama scored just 34.8, while Trump came in at 30.2. On presidential leadership, Obama got a 49.2, while Trump got a 43.2. So why did Obama win re-election and Trump lost? We'd argue that had it not been for COVID, Trump would still be in the White House and Democrats would be still rioting over a stolen election. In any case, would be shots fired.
Gotcha, bitch.
Anyway, that's funny that they wrote that. They would be still rioting over whatever they could riot over because they've been rioting for over a year now. In any case, be sure to check out Tip Insights for more on this, including how George W. Bush fares, as well as insights from the Tip polls at tipinsights.com. Tip with two P's, TIPP, insights.com if you're interested. I'll leave this, this article will be in the tabs anyway. So that is fascinating. None of these are valid metrics any longer. The only one that matters is a person's emotional state of mind about the candidate as a person. Yeah, kind of. But I think those are all factors in what your state of mind about a candidate is overall, I guess. I don't know. I think the only poll that matters is the one when you actually vote for him. And unfortunately, the former president didn't do as well, at least. How do I put this gently? As we are told. All right. I wonder how the COVID did make him not get reelected. Because the ultimate person responsible tends to be the president, and they beat him over the head with it, even though he did what Fauci said to do. By the way, I want to remind you something. Because there is no February 29th right now, but let's see if I can find it here. Is it here? Let's see, where is it? I want to take you back to 1 year ago today. Because someone brought up the fact that Trump on the 28th, 1 year ago today, yesterday, or the 28th, yesterday, that was the day that Trump said, we had 15 cases and it should all go away, right? It should all go away. And but I distinctly remember this interview, February 29th, 2020, which would be today because it's March 1st. 1 year ago today, or 365 days ago, here's Dr. Fauci.
We're getting many, many more tests out there so that the health departments and even individual hospitals can be able to test much more easily, with the results getting back much more quickly.
An oldie but a goodie.
So, Dr. Fauci, it's Saturday morning in America. People are waking up right now with real concerns about this. They want to go to malls and movies, maybe the gym as well. Should we be changing our habits, and if so, how?
No, right now, at this moment, there is no need to change anything that you're doing on a day-by-day basis. Right now, the risk is still low, but this could change. I've said that many times, even on this program. You've got to watch out, because although the risk is low now, you don't need to change anything you're doing. When you start to see community spread, this could change and force you to become much more attentive to doing things that would protect you from spread. We are where we are right now.
Now, what's fascinating about that Nobody seems to remember that. I remember it because I had it bookmarked. That's the only reason. I bookmarked that the day he said it. Because everyone's like, well, Trump said that we didn't. He downplayed it. You know, he downplayed it. Well, why would he have downplayed it? Who is advising the president? Who was advising the president on COVID? Whose instructions, whose guidelines, whose advice did this country follow regarding COVID-19? Who was the biggest name in that group that everyone said, this guy's the guy. He's the guy who trust. He's the expert. He's going to do this. That would be Dr. Anthony Fauci. Now let's see what he did with, what did he say with Tapper here?
Now, because of one factor. It's very complicated, Jake.
The New York Times reported yesterday that you and other top officials wanted to recommend social and physical distancing guidelines to President Trump as far back as the third week of February. But the administration didn't announce such guidelines to the American public until March 16th, almost a month later. Why?
You know, Jake, as I've said many times, we look at it from a pure health standpoint. We make a recommendation. Often the recommendation is taken. Sometimes it's not. But it is what it is.
Maybe Fauci doesn't remember the timeline.
Do you think lives could have been saved if social distancing, physical distancing, stay-at-home measures had started third week of February instead of mid-March?
February 29th.
You know, Jake, again, it's the what would have, what could have. It's very difficult to go back and say that. I mean, obviously, you could logically say,
what's the date
that if you
of
had
this
a
one?
process that was ongoing and you started mitigation earlier, you could have saved lives. Obviously, no one is going to deny that. But what goes into those kinds of decisions is complicated.
Oh, that's
but you're right. I mean, obviously, if we had right from the very beginning shut everything down, it may have been a little bit different. But there was a lot
that
of
was never
pushback about shutting
recommended,
things
though.
down back then.
And again, what did he say on the 29th? No need to change behavior. So, yeah, anyway, that was a year ago today, if you count February 29th as a March 1st right now. So anyway, yeah, who remembers that? Who remembers that but me and you, of course, because I tell you guys all the time, make exercise. Live would have been saved if Cuomo wasn't forcing Wu flu patients into nursing homes. Yeah, there you go. Oh, hi, Renee Mayette, by the way. There you go. Thank you, C. Thomas. Thank you, C. Thomas, for another sponsorship moment. And C. Thomas says, oh, by the way, C. Thomas?
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
C. Thomas says, first of all, had the DNC not rigged the vote, Trump would have won. Secondly, Fauci fucking lied and kept moving the goalposts constantly. And lastly, fuck all these Democrat assholes who still lie about Biden's crowning and the China virus. Well, C. Thomas, very colorful language from you, but hey, I will, I'll even ding that because you're right. Good morning, Ryan. I didn't see you pop in either. Thank you, C. Thomas. I appreciate you.
China is
Whoops. Thank you for sponsoring the show. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, feel free to jump on in there and sponsor the show. So anyway, yeah, 1 year ago today, Fauci was saying, no need to make any changes in your behavior. Gee, I wonder why Donald Trump the day before might have had the idea that, you know, we have 15 cases, but we've got them covered. Hopefully this will all go away. Because I saw a lot of people quoting that yesterday. Well, the day after, Dr. Fauci saying, well, you're probably not going to need to make no one's going to be able to make any lifestyle changes. In fact, on March 6th, if you remember, and I think I have that one here too. Let's see. Where's the one where he says, I think it was March 6th when Fauci said you could still go on a cruise. Here we go. How long is this one? Fauci's travel recommendations.
Is there any talk of closing flights from Europe or flights from Asia outside of China, like what we did with China?
No, I don't think
this is
at all
February
that will
26th.
happen. And that's one of the things when you have a pandemic that involves multiple
Hello,
countries.
Sheagrath. How you doing?
Travel restrictions become almost irrelevant because you can't keep out the entire world. When it was focused only on China, we had a period of time, temporary, that we could do a travel restriction that prevented cases from coming into the United States.
And
but when you
that's-
have multiple countries involved, it's very difficult to do that. In fact, it's impossible.
Travel ban has helped for this?
I think it absolutely has. I believe if we did not do
Now,
that,
he says
with
the
China
travel ban
early
helped.
What about with Europe when there's already a lot of community?
all right. Well, I think that was a prudent choice. We spent a lot of time thinking about it, discussing it, about whether we should do it.
This is not
And it
the
was
one where he
right
says a
public
cruise.
health
On
call. And here's
March
the
6th.
numerical reason why. If you look back.
On March 6th of last year, he was asked a question. I think it was on the Today Show, or no, maybe it wasn't the Today Show, but he was asked a question about whether or not you could still go on cruises. And he said, well, I probably wouldn't go on a cruise because I don't like cruises. But, and then he says, let me pause this. And then he says, but it's probably safe to go on a cruise if you're young and this and that. You could probably still go on a cruise. And then the one cruise ship got it, and basically the whole ship, everyone on the ship got it. But anyway, let's go. Let's see how much time. We're done. We're out of time today. Well, let me finish up with one thing here. Hang on a second. Just write down here. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, no. Well, maybe I'll do that one tomorrow because I'll have time tomorrow. Although, Bill Maher, I forgot. Well, I talked about Bill Maher on Saturday, even though you guys, some of you were here, some of you weren't. Let's see. Well, anyway, this one's from the American Thinker, which I can't fit on the page, right? Hang on. There we go. They move their stuff around a little bit. This was fascinating. You never believe what made Bill Maher's audience clap. The headlines were about the fact that when Megyn Kelly appeared on Bill Maher's HBO show Friday, she complained about the way her children's pricey private schools in New York were indoctrinating them with pro-transgender values and anti-white animus. Bill Maher, to his credit, agreed with Kelly that matters are getting seriously out of hand, at least when it comes to the anti-white hatred that's becoming the norm in education. Maher always has been a bit of a maverick, though. The real surprise was the enthusiasm his audience showed for that sentiment. For conservatives, nothing that Kelly said about her children's experience in New York's finest, toniest private elementary school came as a surprise. Kelly said that while she and her family identify as center-right, she was okay with the fact that schools were on the left side of the political aisle. That changed, though, when they went hard left, and then they started to take a really hard turn towards social justice stuff. Out of the hot button issues was the school's efforts to normalize transgenderism, a form of body dysphoria that's recognized as mental illness when the subject is anorexia, not sex. Kelly told Maher that when one of her sons was in third grade, that is 8 years old, the school unleashed a 3-week experimental trans education program. Not only did the children find it terribly confusing, but Kelly also said that what was going on was more like coercion than teaching tolerance. Thus, she said it wasn't about support. We felt it was more like they were trying to convince them, like, come on over. The same pressure was applied to her other son, who in kindergarten was made to participate in a class project that saw the children writing to the Cleveland Indians to complain about their mascot. He's 6, she said. Can he learn how to spell Cleveland before we activate him? That's where Kelly dropped the line that should be at the forefront of every single parent's brain as he or she fights the school's efforts to co-opt American children. If he's going to be activated, Doug, Kelly's husband, and I should do it. It's up to the parents, not the schools, to set values for the children. But of course, that's not how leftists see it. Mars then chimed in that he'd been hearing from parents, leftist parents, about the relentless anti-white activism the New York schools, both public and private, were pushing. And this is what I've heard from parents, and all these are liberal, by the way, who say, my kids are not ready to be told that they're white supremacists. You know, I'm not ready to be told. You talked about this letter the school put out. Can I read some of the things that are from this letter, lest people think I'm losing my mind? Quote, there is a killer cop sitting in every school where white children learn. White children are left unchecked and unbothered in their homes, one sentence starts. Well, how old do you have to be before you can be unchecked and unbothered? You know, what age do you get bothered? I'm tired of white people reveling in the state-sanctioned depravity, snuffing out black lives with no consequences. You know, go reform white kids. You know, it bothers me so much that I have to be on this side, Kelly's side, of the issue, because this is Bill Maher speaking, because I've always been a civil rights advocate. You know, don't make me Tucker Carlson. You're the fucking nuts. This is insane. As black bodies drop like flies around us by violent white hands, there is a racist problem in this country, but this is hyperbole, and this is making people crazy. It was with those words that the amazing thing happened. Maher's audience applauded. Over the years, Maher's audiences have always been trained seals, reliably clapping at every hard left anti-George Bush, anti-Trump, pro-Obama statement the host utters. But this time he said that the BLM rap pushing critical race theory on American society is dangerous insanity, and the audience clapped. When evil or crazy people, that would be the BLM CRT crowd, take the bit in their mouths, there's no stopping the extremes to which they'll go. Perhaps the reaction from Maher's audience is telling us that America's people are finally ready to rein them in. After all, the leftist audience realized, as Kelly and Maher did, that the left's anti-white racism is going to destroy America. I think it's very counterproductive to life in our country. I don't think to demonize one group after, you know, at the expense of another group, or at, you know, on behalf of another group, doesn't do the other group any good. I just got to say. Anyway, who is this? Megyn Kelly. It was Megyn Kelly. Hello, Rodline, by the way. So, guys, I need to call it today because I didn't keep track of the time. Thanks, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Before you do anything, before you even think about it, down there, click the like button, please. And if you're watching on replay, leave a comment in the comment section. If you got here late, give it about 3 minutes, because I'm going to put the all the news tabs of things we read today. I'll put all of those in the the description down below. You can, if you want a copy of any of those articles we went through. And then those will also be on the Discord. If you want to join the Discord server, there's always a lot of great news items on there under the news tab and the general tab. And there's, you know, it's just a fun place to find more stuff. Thank you again, Gunfox61, for administering the Discord server, and also one of the more prolific providers of news articles in that space. It's fantastic that you do that, and I appreciate you. And thanks to everybody who participated in the chat. Thanks to everyone who's been able to be a sponsor of the show today, including today we have John Arnott, Chicago Mike, and C. Thomas. Appreciate you guys for doing that when you're able. But that's it for today, gang. Let's see. Let me check my notifications one more time. Oh, everyone who helps retweet the show and helps promote the show in the ways that you do. I hope everyone has a great day. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And we'll see you tomorrow, gang. My name is PDawgKnight. And I'm out of here. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.